he's Harvey. He can't shake it.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful seeing him reprise his role, and him and Stephen Amell together is just this brotherhood, I didn't know I needed. And it works so well on screen.
Delhi Crime. I think you're
Yes.
talking about Delhi Crime. Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was so good. And she was so good. So I remember that one.
Hi, my name is Monica. Lovely talking to you. It's almost 10:30 p.m. here.
Oh, okay. It's almost 10 a.m. here
Oh,
in LA. Yeah.
yeah. Nice to meet you virtually. I've been watching the episodes, Suits LA. You tell me, what are your first memories of Suits and when you were cast for the spin-off, what were your first reactions?
Oh, wow. So I knew of Suits, but I never watched it when it was originally on air. And when I got the audition is when I went back into doing my own research, wanting to understand the world, understand the tone. And by that point, it was on Netflix and it already made its
Yeah.
resurgence, and everyone was talking about it even more than they were before. And so I thought I was just gonna watch the pilot, and then I ended up binging the whole first season. And it's I understand the huge following, the big fan base. I too am a fan now, and it just all clicked for me. It was a no-brainer. And doing the audition was it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work with the audition process. I went in about 4 times. Um, Two of those times were chemistry reads, one with Stephen Amell, one with Brian Greenberg. And I I remember the moment I felt like I got the part. And it was before I got the part, but I remember the moment. And what I did was I took a selfie of myself outside of the casting office when I left, and it's sweet because not that long ago, my phone reminded me of that picture 1 year ago. And I was like, wow, that was the day I knew. And cut to, we're here now. So it was very cool, very it felt right. It felt like this was something I should be a part of. And I did my best with the audition process, and now I'm here. So yeah.
Right. Erica is such a force to reckon with. I feel like she has such a strong power. And I feel like some of the past characters with the female characters were so strong written on paper itself. So you could see that kind of dynamic on screen. So when from script to the screen, how interesting was it to bring this character to life? And how were you able to set that dynamic with Steven, knowing that she will not agree to everything he does, but she will be a supporter of him?
Yeah. Um, the pilot was extremely relatable, as her going through the motions of knowing she works hard
Yeah.
and she deserves something, and wanted recognition for that work and for her efforts. Um, and the director of the pilot, Victoria Mahoney, and we rehearsed a lot, going into the whole cast. We rehearsed quite a bit. We prepped almost as long as the production prepped.
Mhm.
And I value that time because it gave us a moment to just live in the script even longer, to kind of dig a little deeper. And with Victoria's approach, for her being the only female in a male dominated space as a director, for me, the only female in a male dominated space as an actor, and Erica being the only female in a male dominated space as a lawyer, we could find the connections, we could find the threads in the through line to enhance and to really shed light on. And so the process of getting there wasn't unfamiliar, because these are things we've lived with. I'm sure you could relate to
Mm,
that as
yeah,
well.
absolutely.
Um, so just pulling from real life with her, pulling some inspiration from the original ladies of Suits, a lot of the poise and the strength of Pearson,
Mm.
I gravitated towards when I watched the original. And then also inspiration from women in my life that are very powerful, and very feminine and all the things. It's kind of creating this amalgamation of people that
Yeah.
became Erica Rollins today. And we're still figuring that out. I'm still digging deeper and wanting to find new colors and find new things to explore with her as we're filming. We're still filming this. So, which is
Mhm.
nice. I get to watch and observe and then
Yeah.
mold and shape as we go. So that's been very fun for me.
Yeah, because I feel like in general, because we have gotten so used to the streaming platforms and episodes dropping at one go. So this is kind of like the old school way that obviously television is going to stay, it's going to always stay. So it's kind of nice to see episodes drop weekly. You kind of get to see and live with the emotions of the characters more.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
also feels like it helps create the community of viewers too, because
true.
everyone can have something to talk about in between while they wait for the next one. And
Mm.
although it can be annoying because we do like streaming and we can get everything at one time, we can binge everything at one time, but it's something very like it's something sweet about being able to talk real time and take a breath and take a beat and grow with these people over an extended period of time. So I do
Yeah.
like that. I like that element of it for
I
sure.
love that. I love that. For sure. I love the weekly episodes because I get to live with the show for a longer period of time. I feel
Yes,
like that is something, an emotion that stays for a while.
yes,
I,
yes.
I do want to ask this is because I saw the stills and the description and the synopsis from the upcoming episodes, and I saw that a certain someone is returning. What can you tell me about Harvey Specter?
Well, first, we're all very excited to have him.
Yeah,
Very happy to have him. He's been so supportive since the beginning. Um, and I've seen the next episode. I'm very, very, very pleased with the episode. It's so good. And having him in it, he's Harvey. He can't shake it.
yeah,
It's just wonderful seeing him reprise his role, and him and Stephen Amell together is just this brotherhood, I didn't know I needed. And it works so well on screen. I don't want to give away the connections. You'll learn it very quick in the episode of like how they're actually connected and how how Harvey's character will be strung through the show. But it's sweet to have it. It feels like family. It feels like a family reunion, which is great.
I do want to ask, like, because Suits had such strong dialogues, and the fact that the amount of dialogues you have to say in one breath, and something I've seen the language is very similar because I heard that the production and the car production is also the same as the
Yes.
last one. So it's so interesting. First of all, these are not even dialogues; these are monologues that you all have to say at once.
Yeah.
Does it ever get easy?
Yes, actually, it does get easier. I mean, having legalese, that's not easy because none of us went
Yeah,
to law school, so we don't know what we're saying when the legal terms come into play. But the character building parts of it, the relationship elements of
yeah,
it, the words do kind of start to flow after a while. What's funny though is depending on where actors come from. My last show was also a network show, and um it I don't know if you're aware of this, but it was a Shondaland show. It was
yes,
and so there was let me correct myself. It wasn't a Shondaland show. The showrunner came from Shondaland's world, but the rhythm of speaking was very quick,
yeah.
barely taking a breath. So what I had to do coming into this was actually slow down. So it doesn't feel as fast. It doesn't feel like it's so big and it doesn't feel so many words and I have to get it all out because now I did the harder part somewhere else and now I kind of can like actually breathe with these words and say them and it's still long but we
Mm,
have time to breathe with them. It's not like a quick pace thing
yeah,
that some network shows do. So it's not as bad as you may think. And for actors, we memorize stuff all the time, so it doesn't
I'm sure.
feel it's not too bad.
I have to wrap up, but before that, I do want to ask this last question because we watch a lot of Western shows in India, a lot of Asian shows and all. I'm genuinely curious. Have you watched anything from India over the past couple of years, or probably growing up? Anything from India that you've loved, or any actor that you've watched?
No, actually, which is such a mind-blowing realization in this moment. Um, because of access too, just trying to understand the access and how to see them and how to get them. Um, I've seen some films, but shows I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen.
Any films that you've watched, if not shows?
I think the most recent film was, it's very different theme and genre, was Monkey Man.
Ah,
And I loved it. It was extremely well made, extremely well acted. I believe he starred and directed and produced that film.
yeah.
Um, I'm blanking on his name and
But
forgive
but
me.
but Dave Patel is British Indian,
Yes.
basically. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
But he filmed there, right? They
Yeah,
actually,
he filmed in India, he filmed in Indonesia, he filmed everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, that was probably the most recent thing that comes to mind because I think that came out
Mm.
last year.
Yeah.
I want to say, but that was the film. I love filmmaking in general, so that was something that my husband and I watched, and we were just like, how did they create that? How did he manage to
Mm.
be in it and film, and then how beautifully it was shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably the most recent thing. But I wonder now that you say it, if how to get access to be able to actually stream and watch
Yeah. So
shows that
these
are,
days, you can find a lot of the movies on streaming platforms, and I think a lot of these basically have subtitles, so it's easier to access on streaming platforms.
yeah,
So
okay,
yeah, so it's I think it's the world has become very smaller in this kind of
yeah.
environment
Wait,
that
what's
way.
the show? And I'm taking up more time now, but what's the show? There was it was also an Indian show. I think it was Netflix. It was probably during the pandemic years, but it was a FBI. It was a woman who was the leading lady of a police department.
Delhi crime. I think you're talking
Yes.
about Delhi crime. Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was so good. And she was so good. So I remember that one.
Yeah, yeah. It's Delhi crime. It's based on a real story from India.
Okay.
Yeah, it was inspired by a real story in India, and that actress's name is Shefali Shah.
Outstanding, outstanding work from her for sure. Yep,
Thank you
I
so
might
much.
actually go back and watch that because it was so
Yes,
good.
yes,
Was it a
absolutely.
limited series?
Yeah, it's a limited
It was
series,
limited.
but there's been 2 seasons already. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
Thank you so much, Lex. Lovely talking to you. And I'm so excited to see how Erica's journey unfolds. I'm so excited about it.
Amazing. Nice talking to you too, Monica. All
Thank you so much and have a
right.
lovely day.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thank you.